Are we a big club anymore? I'm not sure. I'm not sure whatsoever. It's just the same old Arsenal. Every time we come up against a big team, every single time we come up against a big team, we fall over, we collapse. And we're going back in time. We're going way back. We're falling away from the crowd. Are we a big club? Are we a top club anymore? I don't know. I really don't know. It's deflating. It's upsetting. It's just the same record over and over again. Welcome back to Analysing Arsenal. And as you can probably guess, this isn't going to be a happy one. Although I think people on YouTube love to see people, Arsenal fans, unhappy. I'm not angry. I'm upset. I'm deflated. Because, obviously, as you've seen from today, we have lost to Manchester City. This is Analysing Arsenal, and these are my thoughts and feelings to the game in the Premier League at the Aithad Stadium, which saw Manchester City absolutely dismantle Arsenal by 3-1. Let me just say, right from the get-go, first and foremost, before we talk about Arsenal and just all of the stuff I want to talk about them, Manchester City are cut from a different cloth. They are absolutely stupendous. They are relentless. They're ruthless. They are brutal. And they absolutely deserve to win 110%. We were just beaten by sheer class. Manchester City are in a league of their own. They've already got the Premier League title. I said at the start of the season in my build-up to the Premier Series that Manchester United, I think, we're going to win the Premier League. It's not. It's Manchester City. And I generally think they could also match our invincible record. I really, really do. They are just absolutely superb and strong. Every single pass they make always gets there. The players they've got, De Bruyne, Silva, Sané, Sterling, Aguero, Gabriel Jesus, they've just got a relentless team and they will absolutely rip you to shreds. And 3-1 is flatter on our path. It really is. So credit to Manchester City. I don't know what team is going to beat them. I really, really don't. We'll talk more about Manchester City and the title race in my Living in the Prem series, which is going to be starting again next week. But this is all about Arsenal. We need to focus on Arsenal. Now, obviously, this was the game which most Arsenal fans, nobody gave Arsenal a hope in hell's chance of beating City right now. And kind of my head was saying that we were going to get absolutely ripped apart and we were going to lose. But my heart said we could nick something. When we look at the team and the team that Arsene Wenger picked, lots of people were kind of really unhappy with it. But I was kind of in the minority. I actually was really, really happy and glad with the team. And I'm going to be ranting in this video. I just want to kind of be constructive first in what I'm saying before we get to the things that really, really frustrate me. But, looking at the team, he changed from a back three. We played a back three for kind of the last 19, 20 games. He went back to a back four. And, it's good because so many times in these away games, there's been countless times where we've been naive and haven't shown respect to the opposition. A couple of years ago against Manchester City, where we got battered 6-3, Liverpool 5-1, Chelsea 6-0, United 8-2. Arsene Wenger did adapt the team and also play to the style that you have to play at the Etihad. And that is a defensive game, having 10 behind the ball and trying to hit, City on the counter-attack. And that is exactly what he did, bringing Coquelin back in. Coquelin had a very, very good game when we beat Manchester City in the 2014-15 season at the Etihad. It was the first real time we came up against a big boy and like a big team and really, really, put in a professional and kind of a Mourinho masterclass, but for Arsene Wenger type of performance. So, I understand why Coquelin was there. And I also understand why he put Alexandre Lacazette on the bench, because Iwobi will do the dirty work. He will go back, he will defend, he will track his man. Alexandre Lacazette isn't going to be doing that. And also what Arsene Wenger probably was thinking is that with 20 minutes to go, if we're still in the game, bring on Alexandre Lacazette. He's your power player, he's your star sign, he can get us a goal when we need. And he absolutely did that. He came on and scored the only goal for us. So I understand that, and I wish we had Danny Welbeck still fit, because I wouldn't have had Mesut Ozil in the team. I think Mesut Ozil in the big games is the biggest waste of space you could possibly imagine. He's a world-class player. I absolutely love Mesut Ozil. And he is a phenomenal player. But against the big teams, he will not do the dirty work. He won't sit back. He won't track back and defend. And then when things aren't going his way, he will sulk and whinge. And he just won't do that. At times you're playing with as Steven Gerrard said in when we lost to Stoke, you are a man down. We can't carry passengers in this side, and that's exactly what Mesut Ozil is. He's a passenger in these big games. I would have taken him off at half time for Alexandre Lacazette. But the fact is that Arsene Wenger always keeps him in the team. And I wouldn't start him in the big games. You know, you saw against Chelsea when we drew 0-0, we easily could have won that game. Mesut Ozil obviously wasn't in the squad because of an injury. But you saw the difference. You know, if you've got your wingers in a big away game, tracking back and defending, giving you more celerity at the back, you know, it's only positive. And I really would have dropped him for this game. I really, really would, because he didn't do anything. And you know, I feel like at times people use him as a scapegoat, but in the big games he just doesn't deliver. I think I've only seen probably a couple of games at home, Chelsea at home last season, Manchester City at home a couple of years ago, just before Christmas when we beat them 2-1, where Mesut Ozil was outstanding, but I haven't seen him in one big away game actually perform, and that is, you know, that's not great. Maybe in the FA Cup quarter-final against Manchester United when we beat them 2-1, but, you know, okay, that's one game out of, you know, 20 that he just hasn't performed in the big games. And obviously the plan was to sit back, defend, you know, try and, you know, cope and stop with City's just phenomenal front line, and then try and counter. In the early stages, there were moments that was, you know, promising, and, you know, there were intriguing moments for us. We had a couple of decent chances. We were breaking up the play. But, you know, our final kind of creativity, just like it did against Batty Borisov, we had the same problem. We just lacked that little bit of creativity, that little bit of magic, you know, going forward and creating chances. And defensively, we were sloppy. We really, really were sloppy. We kept giving the ball away, kind of in, you know, Manchester City's final third. And that is suicide. You're asking to be punched, right? You are asking to be killed. You know, the firepower that Manchester City possess, you are asking to basically be killed, because Manchester City, if you give the ball back to them in the final third, you're in trouble. And the first goal was no exception. We give the ball away. Undeniably first, Kevin De Bruyne hits a shot, Petr Cech saves it, it falls back, and there's no intensity on, you know, Kolasinac or Laurent Koscielny to close down. They just watch it and say, we'll give it back to Manchester City. They're so static. They just watch Manchester City get the ball. It fires back and goes back to Kevin De Bruyne, and they say, go on, have a shot. He has a shot, and it goes into the bottom corner, and we're 1-0 up. You know, the first 20 minutes of this game were absolutely crucial, and I just felt that if we could get to kind of the 20th minute at 0-0, you know, that is a fantastic achievement, and we're still very much in this game. And obviously we got to the 19th minute and conceded. However, though, the positive was that it was only 1-0 at half-time. Manchester City could have easily made it 4-0. Leroy Sané breaks through our back line. He's clear through. You know, Raheem Sterling on the right-hand side clips it into Sané, and you know, the ball is just a bit too much. It was a poor chance for him. Aguero had a couple of really good chances. David Silva had a couple of really good chances, and we were riding our luck. But I thought it was one of those games where all we need is an injection, a goal. We had a great chance with Aaron Ramsey just before the break. Edison with an absolutely tremendous save. And you were thinking that all it takes is one mistake, and Manchester City do concede goals. No matter how many goals that they score and how, you know, flourishing they are going forward, they do make a couple of defensive mistakes here or there. So we had a chance. But then in the second half, it just absolutely collapsed. It really, really collapsed. You know, a ball comes in, Raheem Sterling gets into it, he's clipped down by Nacho Monreal. It's a penalty all day long, solid penalty. You know, Sterling's through on goal, he clips the back of him, and Aguero nets it to get, you know, to make it 2-0. Petr Cech, incidentally, has not saved one penalty since joining Arsenal. And I don't know, like, you know, he was an absolutely incredible goalkeeper at Chelsea. He's not the goalkeeper that we saw at Chelsea. You know, he makes way too many mistakes. You know, coincidentally, he made a couple of really, really good saves, and really, you know, a couple of really, really good chances, you know, that Manchester City had. He made some great saves, you know, keeping the score as, you know, minimal as possible. But he does make too many mistakes. You know, he should be saving that penalty. Instantly a little bit unlucky, clips post, you know, goes from one post, then to the other, and then goes into the back of the net. But, you know, City are just cut from a different cloth. They absolutely ripped us to shreds. And, you know, even when we got the goal back at 2-1, like there was a brief moment where I believe when, you know, we got the goal back to 2-1, you know, a ball goes in, Ramsey into Lacazette, he just turns and beats Edison, and you're thinking, right, just get a goal back, you know, keep the ball, you know, stop giving the ball away and get a goal back, because at 2-2 anything could happen. But what happens is it's the complete opposite. You know, Manchester City just turn up the gears. Gabriel Jesus comes on, and the third goal, right, a little bit of controversy surrounding it. Ball is into David Silva. It looks like he's offside, and then he passes it through. Sweaty goal, basically, if you want to call that. And Gabriel Jesus follows it in for 3-1 on that. And, you know, with 15 minutes to go, it was literally game over. I'm not sure. The more I've seen it, the more I think he's offside. But it was just defensively atrocious from an Arsenal point of view to allow David Silva to be in that space. You know, it's a very, very tight call, pass it into Gabriel Jesus, but you shouldn't give the ball away in the first place. And some of our defensive capability, some of our defensive errors were absolutely shocking. And again, it's suicide against this Manchester City team. It's suicide. And this is where I'm going to start just getting a bit annoyed and ranting, because it's the same bloody story every single year against the big boys in these big away games. It's the same story. It's the same game. You can predict it as many times as you want. Last season, going up to Anfield, losing. Old Trafford, we actually get ourselves a draw, which was a really good result. But Stamford Bridge, absolutely get battered. White Hart Lane, getting absolutely battered. Going to the Etihad last season, losing 2-1 after being in a decent position. In these away games, we just can't cope. We can't cope. At the Emirates, it's sometimes a little bit of a different story. We've got a better record at the Emirates. But it's the same old story over and over and over again. And the frustration is, and the saddest thing is that there's potential there. At 2-1 with 15 minutes to go, I generally believe that we could have snitched something from the game. We were riding the luck. We were very, very lucky. City should have won this game, 5-6-1 this afternoon. They were a class act above us. But, the really frustrating part is that the potential was there. The potential was there for Arsenal to grind up results, and we just get rolled over and just laid. We're allowed to a fucking slaughter. To be fair, we really are. We are. We're just absolutely clueless, brainless. It's like we don't understand how to win a big game away from home. We lack the capabilities. Yes, Wenger's tactics were there for a defensive counter-attacking performance, but the ability wasn't there. But there was potential, and we've seen it before in the big away games, that Arsenal can do it. They just choose whether they want or not to do it. Man City are a great team, and it's going to take a lot to stop them. But it's not just Manchester City. All of these away games over the last kind of 5-6 years, it's the same thing over and over and over and over again. And it's so deflating. It's so deflating to see it every single time. We weren't in the title race to begin with. So, all these Arsenal fans saying, our title race is over. We weren't in the title race to begin with. Manchester City are going to win it. Manchester United, Spurs, maybe even Chelsea now with their win against Manchester United tonight. Those four teams, if Manchester City don't win it, they've got a chance. We haven't got anywhere near a chance of winning this Premier League title. We haven't even got a chance, I think, of even getting top four with the competition that's at stake. Our best bet really will be the Europa League. We might have to do what Manchester United did this last season and actually win the Europa League to get it. But what gets me is that Arsenal at this current moment are in a worse position than when we had the likes of Marouane Chamakh, Andre Arshavin, Jovino, Olivier Giroud, Podolski. This side is in a worse position than that team, and we have got a better team now than we did then. Now, whether that's because the Premier League has got even tougher, the likes of Spurs are motoring, and they've become a force. They weren't a force over the last couple of seasons, as were Liverpool. Liverpool getting stronger. Either the competition has just, kicked up a gear, and we're just standing still. And the problem is now, Alexis Sanchez didn't do a lot. He wasn't great in this game personally. Mesut Ozil was atrocious. We're going to lose both of them. And until we get rid of our board, until we have a new manager, nothing is going to change. And it's the same thing over and over again. We are like going back to a relationship, and I keep saying this, we keep going back to a relationship that is toxic, that is ending, that is over, but you keep trying to fight it and keep praying that things are going to get better. And they're not going to get better, okay? It is the same thing over and over again. And what's brilliant, right, is we've got the North London Derby after the international break. We'll win the North London Derby, right, because this is just Arsenal, and then we'll lose to West Brom or, just Swansea, a team like that. We're going to lose to a lesser team after a great result, or we're going to get absolutely destroyed by Tottenham, and then that is it. We're going to be fighting all season. The banners are going to come out, all this negativity, and I don't want to be negative about Arsenal. I love Arsenal from the pit of my stomach. You don't know how much I love Arsenal, right? They're my passion. I absolutely love. I hate doing these negative videos, right? I hate being so negative and so upset and so just angry and frustrated. And I'm now at the point where I'm past getting angry and frustrated. I'm just disappointed, okay? It's like I have a child that is constantly getting in trouble and constantly, not putting his all in school every single time. And no matter how many times I say to him, you need to improve, they just don't. And it's the literal definition of the same thing over and over and over again. And I just want Arsenal to compete, right? If we lose and maybe we got a little bit unlucky, but we were in the game for the majority of the game, then that is fair enough. And yes, you can argue Manchester City are absolutely phenomenal. You didn't get battered by them. 3-1 is flattering on our path if we're being, you know, perfectly and ultimately, utterly honest. You know, it's a very, very flattering result. It could have been a lot worse. And Manchester City are just the greatest team in the Premier League. That, you know, they're head and shoulders better than everybody else. But as I said, it's not that. You know, it's Liverpool 4-0 last season, losing to Manchester City, losing to Chelsea, losing to Liverpool, you know, losing to Spurs. It's the same things over and over again. We have a little bit of a spell in the game where we look like we're promising we're going to do something, and then it's the same story over and over again, and it's boring. It is really, really boring to see it over and over again. And, you know, the wins that we get feels like they're just papering over the cracks. We're still a shambles, and all of this negativity, all of this, you know, hostility is just going to build up again, and it's the same thing over and over again. People must be bored of it right now. And who's to blame for Arsenal's downfall? Why have we slipped so far down the pecking order? You know, we used to be, you know, 10, 12, 13 years ago, we were the team that were Manchester City at the minute, and we were competing year after year after year. What has happened to Arsenal, right? You can argue that when we built the stadium, you know, and we couldn't compete with the very best, we couldn't compete with the Chelseas, the Manchester United, and we still got into the Champions League. But once we paid off the debt, and once we had the stadium completely under our own being, that was the time to really compete. And we've had golden opportunities to win the league. We've had golden opportunities to put runs together over these last kind of, I'd say, 5 years, and we've just gone from bad to worse. And you know, what's going to happen? We'll win a couple of games, everything will be rosy, I'll do a couple of really good videos, then one bad result, and that will be it. I don't know. I really don't know. We've got an international break coming up now, and again, it's at a point where I'm kind of glad that there's an international break, because then I won't get upset by Arsenal. We have boring England, we come back and we're probably going to lose the North London derby once again, and there's no happy ending. There's no, oh, but on the brighter side, positivity. The only bright side today is that we didn't get absolutely, you know, humiliating in terms of scoreline. Again, 3-1 is flattering, but it's the same song. It is the same song over and over and over again. It's boring. It's absolutely boring. I say the same things all the time. And do we deserve this as fans, as Arsenal? You know, we don't want to win every single game. You know, we're not saying we want the Premier League title or Champions League title every year. We just want to compete. We just want to be in a position where at the end of the season we say we gave it 110%. What more can you ask for? And I'd be lying if I said Arsenal gave it 110% today. You know, at times they looked a little bit promising, and Manchester City were a cut above anybody else in the Premier League. They're 10 times better than us, and they're in a different league to us. But did we really put in everything? Did every single one of those players put in their absolute hardest and always to get the result? No. You know, Arsene Wenger's blaming all the full officials here and there, but at the end of the day, we were beaten by a better side, and I don't know really what else to say other than that. It's deflating, it's upsetting, and it's not good enough. Really, it really isn't. I'm going to end it on this, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Got lots of great content coming this month as well. The return of the DJ Bagpuss show, my FIFA 18 Road to Glory series, all of that good stuff is on their way. My horror video should be out tomorrow night, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, it's not good. Also, Living in the Prem will be returning this week, so also stay tuned for that as well. And yeah, we will rejoin analysing Arsenal in 2 weeks' time when we play Spurs in the North London derby at the Emirates Stadium. I don't know where Arsenal go from here. We were beaten by sheer and utter class at the end of the day. And well done, you know, congratulations to Manchester City. They've got the Premier League title in their hands. And where do we go from here? This is DJ Bagpuss signing out. Speak to you all later. Take care. Bye.